Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to this, your February 1st through February 15th reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking on this video. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support this channel. Please stick around all the way till the end and have your burning yes/no questions prepared. Because at the end of this video, I will be pulling cards that will answer either yes or no to those questions that you just can't seem to find an answer to on your own. All right, Scorpio. For those of you who are new here, I do not edit my videos. What you see is what you get. I expect authenticity when I consult with a psychic, a tarot reader, or a counselor. And so that's what I put out to you guys. Scorpio, the last time that I did a reading for you was to cover the time frame January 15th through January 31st. And you had the Two of Swords come out twice, indicating you had a decision that you needed to make on blind faith. But there was also some stuff in there about some relationship and asking you to explore your reasons or motivations for why you want a relationship now. Like, what has changed in you that made you want to change or shift and have a relationship now? There was the Six of Cups that came out, indicating you might have been looking to the past with some rose-colored glasses on. So, yeah. And as you can tell from my umbrella leaning up in the back, the weather where I am has shifted. Now we're not only freezing cold, but we're also soaking wet. So, yeah. December, January, and February in the Northern Hemisphere. Lots of fun. Okay, Scorpio. Scorpio, where are you at now? A couple of cards help us understand where you're at now. All right, so we do have a couple of cards that have come out to help us understand where you're at now here at the end of January, end of January as I'm reading this for you. Oh, you've got some swords. You've got the Eight of Swords, the Seven of Swords, and the Six of Swords. Wow, and they came out separately, like they flipped out separately, and yet you have the Six, the Seven, and the Eight of Swords. They did come out in the order 876, however, so let's read them in that order. Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is a card, and I am just going to flip my light off for just a moment so that you can see the card. You have a character on the card who is all bound up and tied up, blindfolded and surrounded by swords. This is a card that I like to call the accountability card. And a lot of people don't like it when this card comes up because they don't like admitting that part of the reason that they may feel trapped and bound up and blindfolded is because of something that they did or something that they said. When we feel like we're trapped, when we feel like we're restricted or confined and we don't have the capacity to move about freely, we don't have the capacity, we feel like we're trapped in our jobs, trapped in our lives, trapped in our relationships. Oh my God, get me out of here. Or, oh, but I can't, I'm stuck. When we feel like that, in order to shift out of that, one of the things we need to do is go into our accountability mode. Why are we here? Could we go get another job if we're unhappy in our existing job? Of course we can. Can we leave a relationship that we're unhappy in? Of course we can. Do we want to? Not always. A lot of us are comfortable. Even if we're uncomfortable, we're comfortable with the familiar. And so we don't make changes that perhaps we need to or should make. This is a big lesson, Scorpio, and it's one that many people shy away from, they back off from, and they go, no, it's not my fault. How many times have we heard that? Okay. This is a big lesson. Take a really good, hard look. If there's something you dislike about your life, what can you change? Because when we put the onus on someone else to change our lives, we give up our power. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that a lot of the rest of this reading is going to be about you taking back your power, Scorpio, because this is how you are coming into this reading. This is how you are coming into February, with this sense of feeling trapped and bound, like you can't get out of something. But when you look at why you were there and what steps you could take, are you living in comfort? Are you in your comfort zone? Okay. The next card that you have is the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, there you go. Looks like a character who has just stolen a few swords and he is sneaking away. This is a card indicating that something is going on behind your back. Someone's not being as honest as you think that they might be. Someone's telling a few stories. Nothing is quite as it seems when this card comes up. So the very next card that you have is the Six of Swords. And you will notice on this card, you have two characters. They are on a boat and they have their swords and they are leaving town. They're done. They're walking away. They're walking away from something that no longer serves their highest good. So these three cards coming out right now for you, Scorpio, is an indication that as we're hitting the end of January and moving into the second month of 2024, there is absolutely something that you need to get away from. You need to walk away from it. Now, for some of you, this may be physically needing to leave a job or a partner. But for many of the rest of you, it may be that there are belief systems you need to walk away from. One of the belief systems that comes up sometimes when we get cards like this, it's not so much about physically having to walk away from something in our lives, but we need to walk away from something that we have believed in with our whole hearts and minds and souls. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Hierophants come up for you. May or may not happen. But so, for example, the belief, I'm not good enough. Imposter syndrome. The belief that if I don't go and attend my religious institution every single day that it's open, I am somehow going to end up on the wrong side of heaven. Are these belief systems that you're holding on to that are still continuing to move your life forward? Or are they making you feel like the Eight of Swords? Let's take a look at what you are focusing on. And let's move forward. Uh-oh, that one's on the floor. What else is Scorpio focusing on for February? Apparently a lot. All right, so we had so many cards, and that one's on the floor way over. Oh my, Scorpio. I'm thinking that you're kind of all over the place right now. Oh, we've got a card over here. Oh, we've got a card down here. And we've got 7 or 8 other cards here. So let's collect up all these cards and mix these cards up. And then let's see what's going to come out for you. Because if you're focusing on this much, that also calls to mind this card. If you've got way too much on your plate and you're trying to accomplish too much, that can make you feel like you're bound up, make you feel like you're trapped, make you feel like you're confined. Okay. All right, so let's take a look. Scorpio, the first card that you have coming up for something that you are focusing on is the Eight of Swords. Does that sound familiar? I think it should. Because that's this card. Only it's from a different deck. Eight of Swords coming up again. Exactly the same meaning. You're beating yourself up. You're stuck in a bad position. You're feeling like you're trapped. You're feeling like you are confined, restricted, backed into a corner. And it's bringing up guilt because you're thinking, how do I get myself out of here? Take, for example, the example that I already gave with regards to a religious institution. Do you feel obligated to continue to attend a religious institution that no longer holds weight for you, but wait, maybe you still have that belief system? Well, you have two cards coming in now that have very similar meanings. In order to make this decision, in order to get out of this Eight of Swords energy and the Seven of Swords energy and the Six of Swords energy, which is walk away from something, you have two cards with very similar meaning. One is trust and the other one is totality. These two cards are basically about going all in. Both of them feature characters who are basically soaring through the air. They have put their trust out there and trusted that things are going to be okay. And with this totality card over here, it is not only about going all in, totality, putting everything into making this change or shift. It's also about timing. Okay. This card has trapeze artists on it. And we know that when we watch trapeze artists at the circus, if their timing is not in sync, come on, camera, refocus. That's not nice. Thank you. We know that if the timing is not in sync, somebody's going to land on the net down below, and you better hope there is a net down there. Okay. Totality and trust, going all in, making a decision. And there's no turning back from this decision, Scorpio. More and more, I believe that some of what's coming up for you is a belief system in a certain institution of some kind. Be that religious, educational, familial, societal. I just feel like, and I think that there's other shifts that are going to happen. In your relationships and in your career, once you do a deeper dive and exploration into what it is that you need to leave behind with this Six of Swords, and when you decide to leave it behind, it's an all or nothing. I do have another card down here on the floor for you. In your difficult influences, you have the Nine of Winter. The Nine of Winter is the Nine of Swords. So now you have the 6, 7, 8, and 9 of Swords consecutively coming up in your reading. Plus you have the 8 of Swords here twice. Scorpio, there's something that you need to deal with. This is the card that I like to call the catastrophism card. This is the card of lying awake in bed at night, worrying, catastrophizing. Oh my God, dealing with the what ifs. It hasn't happened. What if you walk away from a particular institution, whether it's an educational institution, a religious institution, whether you walk away from a belief system that's no longer working for you? What if you walk away from it? You're lying awake in bed worrying about the worst case scenario. You have the Two of Winter coming in. This is the Two of Swords. This is a card of decisions. But in the traditional tarot, the character on the card is blindfolded. Wait, have we seen a blindfolded character in your reading already? We have. Look at that. The character's blindfolded. And in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, the Two of Swords is also a blindfolded character, meaning that there's a decision that you need to make, and you may not have all the information. You need to make the decision on blind faith. This card has come up in your difficult influences. So in your difficult influences, you are struggling and bumping up against a belief system, just as I predicted. Something is keeping you awake, lying you awake in bed at night going, oh my God, what if I walk away? And you need to make the decision. And you need to make that decision on blind faith. But it's not going to be easy because it's in your difficult influences. But ultimately, you do need to make that decision. And once you make that decision, because you've got the Six of Swords here, make that decision. Walk away from something. And when you do, trust that it's the right decision and go all in. Because following right behind that, you have the Nine of Spring. Nine of Spring corresponds to the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is about preparing for the future. It's about protecting the fruits of your labor and preparing for the future. In your difficult influences, you have two nines. Just want to point that out too. So watch for nines coming up, a little bit repetitive in your first half of February. But yeah, protect the fruits of your labors. This is coming up. This may be what's keeping you lying awake in bed at night. I'm thinking, Scorpio, once you make this decision, once you go all in, once you decide to walk away from whatever it is that's keeping you awake at night, a lot of this is just going to go, I'm done. I'm out of here. Let's have a look at messages from the universe, messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. Yep. Okay. Patience is a virtue. Give without expectation. All right, let's dive into patience is a virtue in relation to this reading. Even once you make the decision or the choice that you need to make, and you go all in with totality, and you trust that that was the right decision, things are not going to change overnight, right now. They will begin to shift. But there's no tower here. There's no death card here yet. We still have to pull your unexpected. But patience is a virtue. Give without expectation. Where are we going to go for your unexpected? Unexpected. Oh, are you kidding me? I can't. Scorpio. Really? Do you see what that number is on there? 8 of Swords. Really? This is the third 8 of Swords coming out in your reading. Scorpio, you are feeling so trapped right now, so confined. You've got to make this decision. You got to make this decision. You're going to have to make it on blind faith because there are good things coming. You have the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is the queen that takes action. She is the queen of, I'm getting out there, I'm doing it. The Queen of Wands is represented by the element of fire. And when I was first learning the tarot, a really long time ago, and I'm not going to tell you how long ago that was, I was having trouble keeping track of which elements went with which suit. And I was having trouble keeping track of, what does this mean? What does that mean? And my teacher said to me, when you get something in the wands, it is represented by the element of fire. If somebody lights a fire underneath your butt, you're probably going to move. And you're probably going to do and take action. And that's what this queen is about. And this queen is a powerful queen. Also, she has the black cat represented here. The Queen of Wands is the queen that taps into her intuition. more so than some of the other queens. So if you are struggling against making these decisions and making these choices, which clearly you are, Eight of Swords 3 times in your reading, I mean, unbelievable. If you're having trouble making these choices and really, really looking in the mirror, that accountability aspect of it, understanding that you are responsible for what goes on in your life, tap into the energy of the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands, like I said, is the doing queen. She's got a fire lit under her. She is the mover and shaker, but she is also the queen that has a black cat in front of her, indicating that if you're having trouble finding answers, look to your intuition. There's answers there for you. And that's what's coming up in your unexpected. So let's dive into your final general overall outcome, and then we're going to dive into your yes/no. Outcome for Scorpio. Outcome for Scorpio. All right. Just out of curiosity. You got an 8 on the bottom of the deck. Incidentally, it's the 8 of Cups, not the 8 of Swords. Okay. Uh-huh. Scorpio. Okay. In your final general overall outcome, the same thing that you were focusing on here, the totality, going all in, the 5 of Wands, because this is the 5 of Fire. Remember, it's red, 5 of Fire here. You have the 5 of Wands as your outcome. Okay. It is reiterating that you need to go all in, but it is also reiterating it's about timing and it's about reliance on others. Ask others for help, right? A trapeze artist is nothing if he doesn't have his partners. So, and again, with these witches standing around their cauldron, ask for help, ask for assistance in what you're doing. And the reason that I was ducking my head down is because you had the 2 of Winter here. 2 of Winter, also known as the 2 of Swords, in a traditional deck is depicted by a blindfolded character. 8 of Swords is someone who is blindfolded. On this card, someone who is blindfolded, and you have the Justice card, and you have someone who is partially blindfolded. Scorpio, time and time and time again, in this reading, we have seen characters come up over and over and over and over again with blindfolds on. There is something that you are refusing to see. You don't want to see it because you don't want to face it right now. And when you finally do face it, doors are going to open and things are going to change and shift. But there is something that you need to let go of, something that you need to shift. And you cannot put this onus on someone else. This is your responsibility, because having the 8 of Swords come up 3 times, this is the universe saying, it's time to look in the mirror and go deep. Use the energy of the Queen of Wands and her intuition to figure out what it is that you need to walk away from. Because when you walk away from it, yes, you're going to walk away with totality, but you'll also walk away with some assistance and when the timing is right. Let's take a look at your yes/no questions. So bring your question to mind. You may wish to close your eyes. Ask your question several times in your mind as I shuffle the cards. And we're going to put it out. Universe, we need a yes or a no answer for Scorpio. Scorpio. I have no idea what this card is yet either. So, Scorpio, in relation to your question, your answer is you're going in the right direction. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. If this video resonated deeply for you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing so you'll receive a notification next time I post a video. I will be posting my next video in the middle of February, so I would appreciate it if you would give me the honor of doing your next reading. And if you are interested in a personalized reading rather than these general readings, all of my contact details are down below. Take care, everyone.